The wind rolled low and cold over the English countryside, carrying with it the scent of damp soil and moss. It was 1822, a time when Europe throbbed with the energy of industry and discovery. Coal fires burned in factories, gears clanged, and the modern world began to rise from iron and steam. Yet beneath the ground, beneath centuries, beneath millennia, something older waited. Something that had slept through empires and extinctions. Something ready to be found again. Gideon Mantell, a country physician with an obsession far larger than his quiet Sussex home, crouched in a quarry near Cuckfield. His boots sank into the wet clay. His hands, already stained with dust, trembled with curiosity. But he wasn't alone. His wife, Mary Ann Mantell, an observant, sharp-minded woman with an artist's eye, walked beside him, scanning the rubble for anything unusual. The world did not yet know the word dinosaur. The concept itself would have sounded ridiculous. Giant reptiles older than the Bible, older than humanity, older than imagination? Impossible, absurd, heretical even. But Mary Ann paused. Something glinted among the shattered stones. She brushed away dirt, and a smooth, curved fossil emerged. A tooth, large and blade-like, yet strangely similar to that of a modern iguana. "What in heaven's name is this?" she whispered. Gideon turned. His breath caught. That is no origami tooth. He took it into his hands, weighing its size, its shape, the serrations along its surface. It looked too large, too strong, too ancient, and yet it had the unmistakable shape of a lizard's tooth. But what kind of lizard could grow such monstrous teeth? That night, with oil lamps flickering and shadows dancing on the walls, Gideon studied the fossil. He compared it to iguana jawbones, sketching obsessively, measuring every ridge, every line, every curve. This creature, Gideon murmured, was enormous. How enormous? Mary Ann asked, leaning closer. Imagine, Gideon's voice trembled with excitement and fear. An iguana the size of a rhinoceros. The fire cracked behind them. The shadows deepened. Silence. Then, a single word escaped Gideon's lips, soft yet full of destiny. Iguanodon. The name meant iguana tooth, simple, direct. But this fossil, this creature, was far from simple. It was the first clue to a world that science had not yet dared to imagine. A world where reptiles were not small, cold and sluggish, but colossal, powerful and ancient beyond belief. The earth had kept its secrets long enough. Now they were being dragged into the light. And England was about to lose its mind.
Before Iguanodon, there had only been one true giant, Megalosaurus, named by William Buckland in 1824. Buckland, eccentric, brilliant, chaotic, believed he had found the bones of a monstrous reptile, but even he did not realize what he had uncovered. He thought Megalosaurus was enormous, yes, but not unimaginably ancient. Buckland imagined it as a massive, lumbering reptile, something akin to a monstrous crocodile walking on four legs. No one, not even Buckland, could fathom a world ruled by reptiles larger than any creature living today. Because there was no framework for such thinking, no category, no language. Nature was orderly, predictable, created in a divine sequence set into motion a few thousand years before. Everything had a place, everything had an explanation. But as fossil after fossil appeared from the dark belly of the earth, as miners, quarry workers and amateur scientists dug into the earth and pulled out bones too large to be cattle, too strange to be human, too old to be anything familiar, the old explanations began to crack. Something was wrong, or rather, something was missing. A whole chapter of Earth's history had been erased by time, and now, piece by piece, humans were stumbling upon it without understanding what they were holding. The bones whispered of vast forests filled with towering beasts, of thunderous footsteps, of long reptilian shadows stretching across ancient ferns, of battles fought long before mammals ever crawled from the underbrush. But without a name, without a definition, these creatures became myths, puzzles, curiosities. No one knew what they truly were, until a man of ambition stepped forward. And he was about to give these monsters the identity they deserved.
London, 1842. Inside a room filled with bones, great towering bones that cast monstrous shadows on the walls, a man stood in silence, contemplating history through cold, calculating eyes. Sir Richard Owen. Sharp-minded, fiercely intelligent, prideful beyond measure, a scientist feared and respected in equal portions. He spoke like a statesman, arguing like a warrior, and thought like a visionary. On his table lay the remains of Megalosaurus, Iguanodon, and a third creature soon to be known as Hyleosaurus. 3 giants, 3 enigmas, 3 impossible beasts. And Owen saw something everyone else had missed. "These are not lizards," he murmured. "Not crocodiles, not mammals. They are something entirely different, something ancient, something terrible." He placed his hand on a massive iguanodon bone, tracing its contours. "These creatures," he whispered, "must be united. They are a group unto themselves." The air in the room felt charged, as if the fossils themselves were listening. Owen took up his quill, dipped it in ink, and wrote a single word, a word that would forever change the course of science: Dinosauria. Greek for terrible lizards. A name that sent shivers through the scientific world, a name that made newspapers explode with excitement, a name that shaped the imaginations of generations to come. Suddenly, the monsters of the past were not forgotten anomalies. They had a kingdom, a category, a story. And England, the empire of steam and steel, had become the birthplace of a revolution as old as time. The world embraced the term with awe and fear. Children whispered it at bedtime, scholars debated it in lecture halls, artists attempted their first monstrous reconstructions, some majestic, some grotesque. But one thing was certain: the age of dinosaurs had begun.
After Owen christened the dinosaur kingdom, Britain exploded into fossil fever. Newspapers, universities, and enthusiasts rushed to uncover more prehistoric giants. Every quarry became a treasure chest. Every stone held a possibility. Gideon Mantle's fame soared, though not without rivalry, for Owen saw Mantle as a threat. Mantle, humble and passionate, continued searching for Iguanodon remains, obsessing over the creature he had brought into scientific history. He imagined vast herds of Iguanodon roaming ancient forests, their beaks slicing leaves, their heavy bodies trembling the ground. But the public wanted drama, spectacle, and they got it. In 1854, the Crystal Palace Park unveiled the world's first life-sized dinosaur sculptures. Benjamin Waterhouse Hawkins, a sculptor with imagination as big as the beasts he built, created towering statues of Iguanodon, Megalosaurus, and Hyleosaurus. Thousands flocked to see the giants. Children shrieked in delight, women gasped, men stared in disbelief. For the first time in human history, people stood face to face with the monsters that once ruled the world. They were wrong, of course. The Iguanodon statue was shaped like a massive iguana with horns. The Megalosaurus was built like a reptilian rhinoceros. Inaccurate by modern standards, but magnificent in spirit. They were not just sculptures, they were time machines. A way for humanity to look back millions of years and feel the breath of creatures long extinct. That year, England did something astonishing. It celebrated the ancient world as if discovering a forgotten civilization. Dinosaurs became symbols of wonder, imagination, and the vastness of Earth's history. But behind the excitement, behind the sculptures and the newspaper sketches, the science was still evolving. and soon the world would learn that these terrible lizards were not just curiosities, they were clues to Earth's greatest mysteries. By the late 1800s, the hunt for dinosaur fossils grew into an international obsession. From the deserts of America to the cliffs of Germany, bones began emerging from the earth like forgotten memories. But the question that haunted scientists was simple. How old were these creatures? What kind of world had they lived in? Each new fossil, each tooth, each bone, each footprint added to the puzzle. Scientists discovered that these giants were not slow and stupid like crocodiles. Many were fast, smart, social, even powerful hunters. Iguanodon was no mere reptilian cow. It was a dynamic, muscular herbivore capable of defending itself with thumb spikes built like natural daggers. Hyleosaurus was armored like a tank. Megalosaurus, once thought to be a waddling crocodilian brute, was slowly recognized as a fearsome predator, a beast that could tear flesh from bone with terrifying force. And yet, all of them vanished, wiped out in an extinction so complete, so sudden, so catastrophic that even the mighty dinosaurs could not escape it. Their disappearance raised questions that shook the foundations of science. Had a comet struck Earth? Had volcanoes choked the skies with ash? Had climate destroyed their kingdom? The past was no longer a curiosity. It was a mystery, a riddle carved in stone, and humanity was determined to solve it. Today, we know much more. We know dinosaurs ruled Earth for over 160 million years, longer than mammals, longer than primates, longer than humans will likely ever survive. We know they evolved into shapes and sizes unimaginable, from the colossal sauropods stretching longer than blue whales, to the swift hunters whose clawed feet tore through ancient forests. We know Iguanodon was one of the first great plant eaters of the Cretaceous world, chewing leaves in vast herds. We know Megalosaurus stalked the Jurassic woodlands long before T-Rex ever appeared. And we know Sir Richard Owen, flawed though he may have been, gave a name to the monsters that once ruled Earth: Dinosauria, the terrible lizards. Yet perhaps the greatest legacy lies not in the bones or names, but in the spark they ignited within us. The spark of curiosity, the thrill of discovery, the realization that our world is older, stranger, and more magnificent than we ever imagined. Every fossil is a voice from the past saying, "We were here long before you, and we shaped the world you live in." The story of Iguanodon, Megalosaurus, and the birth of Dinosauria is not just a scientific tale. It is a human story of wonder, ambition, rivalry, imagination, triumph, and the eternal quest to understand our place in the vastness of time. And as long as there are bones buried beneath our feet, the terrible lizards will never truly die.